to announce the Garifuna Drum Making, hosted by myself, Afra Lambey, featuring Glen Garcia as the Garifuna artisan. This project is possible thanks to a grant from the California Arts Council and the initiative from GAHFU Inc. to document Garifuna drum making, which is unique to the Central American Garifuna region and is also shared by the Arawak culture in the Orinoco region of South America. Myself, Afra Lambey, will be asking Mr. Glen Garcia questions that pertain to what kind of wood is utilized to make better drums, what kind of skin, how to tune it, and how to maintain the quality sound of the drum. Okay, so please go ahead and tell us, what's your full name? Where were you born?
Well, my full name is Glen Garcia, born in Belize by way of Arawak.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. And your parents?
My parents are Eleanor Flores and Alan Garcia from Seine Bight and Georgetown.
Seine Bight and Georgetown, very key towns. Talk to us a little bit about the enchantment with the Garifuna drum. Where did that start?
Well, it started back in, I want to say early 90s. Back in the days, I came here as a youth since about 15. So that would make me 1992. Around that kind of time, I went to a party, and there was a band rehearsing. So the band used to call Wagia with Bootsy Rankin, General Lee, Baho, and then they were rehearsing. So I picked up one of the Garifuna drums, and General Lee was like, "That's how you play this thing. Play like this." So I started practicing like that, and he's like, "You know what? Take the drum home and practice."
Wow.
That's how I got my start.
And that was here in Belize, or
right
here in LA?
Wow. Right in LA. Before that, in Belize, there was no drumming. I was just a youth growing up in Georgetown, go to the river, be in Magalaga.
Wow.
Right? So basically, that's how I got my start.
So you heard the drumming in Belize, but it never dawned on you that it was not until you came to LA.
Here in LA, I started listening to the music and hearing the drums.
I don't know if you're shocked as I am, but I can't believe that. That's outstanding. Wow.
A little bit of history about how this thing started is basically there is no teacher. Nobody can come and say, you know what, I teach Kyo to play this drum, or I teach how to fix this, or nothing like that. It's all self-taught. Basically, that's how I started.
Wow. That means no one sat and showed you how to knock it.
Never.
No one, you didn't take any type of classes.
Never.
You just heard it based on your ear.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. I am just amazed by that. Hi, Mr. Glen Garcia.
Yes, ma'am.
The Garifuna drum artisan. I have a few questions with regards to the making of the drum. Can you tell us about the materials that are needed to build the Garifuna drum?
Yes, I can. So first of all, we start with a hollowed out tree trunk. In this case, this is actually an African drum, and it's a dundun from Africa, right? And it's actually about 24 inches long, so to kind of make it to the Garifuna drum size, I kind of cut it down to start with. And then from there, we would go to the skin, right? Which is goat skin, that's what we use here, which is this right here. That's that. This right here is not really ready to put on the drum yet, so we have to shave it off to start with, and then soak it in water for it to fit on the drum. And then we need the rims for the drum, right? These are bamboo, right? And then it's pre-shaved, of course, right? And then from there we will go to the rope, just basically nylon rope. That's what goes on there. So to recap, real what Afra's question is what materials are needed to make a Garifuna drum, which is the body of the drum, right? This is the shell. You need the skin, goat skin. To prepare that, basically I have to shave it and then soak it in water for it to get kind of supple to put it on. You need the rim. There's two rims, one on the top, one on the bottom. You need a nylon rope to tune the drum. And after that, to tune the drum, you need the pegs, right? It's about 8 of these, 8. You need 8 of those. Once it's tuned and dried and ready to go, you put the nylon string on top, or usually it's steel wire to give it the fine tune, the final touch.
Thank you so much for sharing that with regards to the necessities to build a drum. So talk to us, I know you mentioned about the tuning. What does it take for the preservation? I know you can't tune it every day.
Right.
You might annoy their neighbors. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So once you're done tuning your drum and you're playing, and at the end of the night you'll be like, you know, I'm done playing. So basically you would take the pins out, right? So basically this is already set and ready to play. So once I'm done, I get home, pull the pins back, like one at a time. Right? And you're gonna hear how it sounds different once you pull the piece back. See? Alright? There's 8, like I said before, so you just go one at a time. And they all get loose. And that's that. And then you just leave it like it is till you're ready to play again and you tune it back.
And when you tune it back, you would just turn this.
Well, it's different. When you tune it back, you kind of want to go one in, one out.
Oh.
So instead of go 1, 1, 1, 1, you'll go, you do this one, skip one, and then go to another one. Alright? And so on. Skip one, tighten another one. And so on, right? Skip one, click, and you'll get back the sound you're looking for. Okay? So basically that's pretty much how you see.
Yay! Alright, I'm excited. Right. Okay, Mr. Glen Garcia.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's talk a little bit more about the drums. I know that there's a primera and there's a segundo, so talk to us about the differences between the two.
Sure. Well, first of all, the primera is mostly what we call the talking drum. Right? It's like more like the lead. Right? It does all the talking, all the rhythm, all the in Garifuna legadna, right?
Right.
The beat. Right, then the segunda is mostly like a kick drum or a bass. Like it just has that boop, 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 and then that kind of helps with the rhythm too. Alright, back to your question as far as the primera and the segunda. The difference is the segunda is actually always bigger than the primera because it is a bass, right? And it does have a heavier sound, alright? So this is right? That's just right? That's more like a segunda sound, which is always a little bit heavier, but that's a smaller segunda. That's a primera. Alright?
So, now we know about the primera, we know about the segundo. Let's talk a little bit more about the money part. Is there a difference in the price?
Of course. Primera is a little bit cheaper than the segunda. Not much cheaper, but it is a lot more work to do a primera as opposed to a segunda. To make the loop, right, it is kind of hard work. You got to get that a little bit smaller. For the big one, it's not that much to get it circular. Right? The skin is smaller, the skin is bigger, the shell is bigger, the shell is smaller. So as far as pricing, if you, let's say you want to buy one segunda, you're looking at about $400. If you want to buy one of these, you're looking at about $300. For the pair, if you buy it together, maybe $650, $600, more or less.
That's funny. I thought that the primera was going to be more because it does more. But you say you learn when you learn, right?
Right, correct. But it's more material, more money.
Wow, wow.
Right? One more thing is, let's say if you do have a drum and you want it fixed, you can call me or call Afra or contact GAHFU and we'll get it fixed for you, of course, for a fee.
What happens if we decide we want to build one ourselves? Because you've given us all the tools and tell us what to do. Where can we get it?
I prefer you contact.
Okay, well, with all this great information, I want to know what happens if I want to build one myself. Where can I buy these materials?
Well, first, you maybe want to buy a plane ticket, go to Belize and buy a drum already made.
Oh my God!
Right? Hey, or you can call me and I'll tell you exactly where to get it from, where I can make it for you. And everything is actually here in the U.S. So, the skin, the drum, everything is here. Call me and I'll tell you.
Sounds good. And so now, we'll be taking questions from the audience. And our first question, Mr. Glen Garcia, is what type of wood are the Garifuna drums made out of?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, as far as I know, they've been using mahogany, cedar, and some people use mango tree, as far as I know, for the drum body, the shell. Alright?
Okay. And what about the skin itself?
Right. Here in the U.S., we use mostly goat skin, right? Sheep skin. And then in Belize, I heard them using, what's the skin called? Deer skin. Some people use young calf. And I think, what else? And they use sheepskin too, right? So goat, deer, and some people they say they use tiger skin, but don't use tiger skin because I want to fight after you don't play the drum, right? So,
wow. Is there like a difference with the sound of the skin, with the skin that you use?
Yeah.
It is?
Goat skin is thinner, so it gives you a more crisp sound, which is mostly used in Honduras.
Wow.
Right? That's why it sounds to me it sounds a lot better. With the goat skin, not the goat, the deer skin is kind of thick, so you kind of have to tune it a lot more to get that sound you want. Some people use pelican throat, they kind of go in the yellow, right? which is real thin, but sounds good.
So I've heard, Mr. Glen Garcia, about the synthetic skin that have been used on the drums. So can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Correct, of course. I've heard of it, but personally, I wouldn't use it on my drum because I wouldn't know how to use it or what to do with it. So, like I was saying, synthetic drum skin, I've never bought it, but I've actually bought a drum with synthetic skin on it that I used before for playing the Garifuna drum in the bands.
Okay, great. Now, we also had a gentleman inquire on the drums themselves. We have a primero, we have a segundo, and I think that he mentioned that there could be a third one as well.
It's called a tercera, or in our terms, lanigi, which is a segunda, but just bigger, like 2 times bigger than a regular segunda. And that's like a heartbeat drum. And it's mostly used in the temples for what we call dugu.
So you mentioned the need or the use of the tercera in the dugu. Can you talk to us a little bit more about its usage?
Well, personally, I've never been to a dugu or know what really a dugu is all about. But we've done what they call chugu here in LA, which is according to whatever, it's a mini version of a dugu, which is a spiritual thing, right? Where we, I guess, we honor the dead, I guess, right? So that's what a chugu is, and I've played for that. But we only use 2 drums, the primero and the segunda.
For this next question, we have a member of our audience, Mr. Alfonso Cayetano, who will be asking the question.
Mr. Garcia, in the past, we have also used these pigtail buckets for drumming purpose in our beluria. So hence, I'm asking if we cannot expand the usage of those in ordinary drumming.
Personally, I've used the pigtail bucket myself, right? But it's hard on the hands as a drummer. The pigtail bucket has a rim on the outside that's kind of hard, and then you can't tune it, right? So basically, you use it like it is. So now I guess we're getting ready to make an actual drum, right? So first thing we start is with the skin that's already pre-soaked from yesterday, right? Here's your skin, right? And it's actually laid out like that. Take your rim, put it on there. Alright? So this rim is the bottom rim. There's 2 rims, one on the top, one on the bottom. And then all you do is you fold it. Right? You start folding it like that, and then you have to tack it on. Right? So you start tacking it on. And basically you turn it around like that. Start to tack it on there. Tack. Be careful, these things are pretty sharp. Ready? Right. That one. And this should be tight on the rim. Right. This one there. The hair on the skin, you can always shave it off once it dries up. That, just keep going all the way around. Let's get that in there. There. Get that in there. All the way around until you're done putting all the tacks in there.
As I'm looking at you going through this, I'm kind of asking myself, like, I wonder if there's a machine that does it. This has to be handmade, huh?
Correct, all the way, 100% handmade, from scratch. Everything. You know? Now, if you notice, I have all this excess skin. Right? I mean, I did pre-measure before I actually cut the skin. But you always want to have, like they say, measure twice, cut once. that's the same thing here. You don't want to cut the skin and it's too short, then you just kind of wasted your whole materials on there. Okay. The tacks that I put in there is at least like 2 inches apart. Well, as I'm folding it, you can see where you need to put a tack in there, so it doesn't come back up. Okay. And the tack is just to hold the skin down, so when it dries up, it stays in that form. All right.
Okay, so after you're done, and you said you have to leave the skin to dry, how long does that take before it's dried?
At least 2 weeks for it to be fully dry and cured. And then you don't want to leave it out in the sun. You want to leave it to dry like at room temperature. From past experience, some of us musicians or drummers like to be in a hurry and we need the drum to go play, and then it starts to rip. If you dry it too fast and leave it in the sun.
And when it rips, you can't just like mend it or anything. You have to put a brand new skin.
Take it off, put a new skin. As you can see, I'm done here with all this tacking up. I'm going to cut the excess skin on there, so you got to be kind of careful not to cut too much or else it won't fit right. Alright, so there's that. Let's see here. One more there. So we just want to go a little bit outside, like about there. Okay. Keep cutting it off. So whatever is left on there is going to go under the drum. Alright. There's that. It's always good to have extra to be on the safe side. Okay. There we go. All right. So the next step is to fit it. So take this and fit it on there. And all the skin should go under. All right. There we go. Sometimes if it doesn't quite fit like how you expect, you turn it over or put it under. All right. Just so you make sure that it does fit. So as you can see, it's gonna fit, right? So just lift it back up, and then now we're gonna put on the top rim, right? So it's already pre-sized from before, right? And then we get the rope and we start stringing it up, right? We have our string, right? While we're looping it, we have to kind of burn the edges so it doesn't come apart, right? So that's that. So the string stays together at the end. Alright?
So you're sealing it.
Basically, yeah. Alright. So once you looping it through, it kind of stays together on there. Alrighty? So there's that. And then we're ready to go. Alright, so we're going to start stringing it up. If you notice over here, there's 3 holes, right? This is the last hole that the string is going to come through. So on the left side of it is where you put the string, right? So let's get that, right? So I'm going to go through here, and you're going to go on the rim, right? You keep pulling it, go back in, and out. Same thing again. So you're going to end up with 8 of these. Alright? Pull it over there, Afra. Put in the right one? Yeah. So for this one, get that one, get that, get that. So on. Keep going. So once you get that up, sit it back up. Around so you can see it. Need some more rope. end of looping the entire drum, and this is the last hole. And then remember, it has 17 holes. The last hole is where the end of the string comes out from. Right? And this is the one that you pretty much tie up like that, and that's that.
Okay, do that one more time. Do that knot one more time.
So once it comes out, you kind of tie it up on the last one, right? You tie it up. You're gonna still have to loosen it once you kind of get to where you're going. Right? So remember, I started on the inside on this one, right? So we have to cut this off and tie it so it doesn't come up to the other side. Use that. Basically take this, tie it, and then you burn it again. Cut that off. Burn it so it doesn't come through. Alright, so I gotta go on that side and then start to tighten it up. So once I get out my string all the way in, I have to put a little bit more manpower in it and start to tighten it down so it kind of looks like a drum. Alright, so to get this rim to fit on here, you basically have to pull the strings a little bit tighter, right? So you'll have a little bit of excess rope to start with. Right? Kind of put a pressure on it with your knees so you know where the rim sets. You can move them. Move them over. And again, back to the last rope, same thing. And that's that. Now you get the pegs. So the excess skin, I'm trying to push it so it stays under the rim. Alright, so we don't have any excess skin hanging out from the side of the drum because it does belong under the rim. Alright, so I just kind of use a screwdriver to push it back in there. Whatever is left. Right? So if you can see, it's all even. All the skin is under the rim. So, see? We're good with that. Alright, so now we're ready to put the pins in. Right? And the pins are basically the same materials that the rim is made of, which is bamboo. Right? It's just like when you first using the drum, it's the same technique to put the pins in, one in, one out. But it is a new skin, so you kind of have to watch how you put the pegs in. So the rim doesn't kind of want to lean on one side. Right? So we'll start by just putting them in first, right? So it catches. Right. Stay. Right. Got that one. There. Keep going around. Just want a little tension on it to start. We can more or less start to bring it down to where you want it to go. Start with that one. That. Here. So we got all our pegs in. Now the trick is to make sure that it goes all the way down evenly. All right. So if you can look at it, some parts are higher than others. Right? So you want to pull the peg down on the side that's a little bit higher. Right? So in this case, it would be this one. Right? So just over you look, it's going to go down. Right? It's going to pull down on it. And the only reason it's pulling down is because the skin is wet. Right? So pretty much once you get a good level, you leave it there, and in about 2 weeks, you're good to go. So there you have it, brand new drum made by Glen Garcia, and we're all ready to go. Thanks.
Well, definitely when it's all said and done, we want to give a great round of applause and thank you for Mr. Glen Garcia for his time and his contribution in this drum making workshop, as well as Miss Clivia Santos for donating her time and this actual PG Cultural Home Center. Very grateful.
Well, I just want to say thanks to GAHFU, Cheryl, and Ronnie, DJ Labuga, for this opportunity to come and show how we make the Garifuna drums. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Clivia Santos, originally from PG, Punta Gorda. That's where we got this name, PG Whole Cultural Center. And I don't like to say the word the owner, but I'm the manager, and I believe that God is the head, and He gives me what I need to make this facility available for all of us. When we say culture, I'm not only speaking of Garifuna, but I'm talking about all the different ethnic groups that we have in Belize and I guess throughout the world. It's always a pleasure to have everybody here, no matter where you come from. Thank you.
Now we'll get a little bit of feedback from our audience. Let's talk to Mr. Cayetano from Barranco.
This was it was an excellent workshop. Knowing that more and more people are not making drums, I like that GAHFU is taking initiative to teach all of us not to forget these skills.
And now Dr. Goldwasser from UC San Diego.
This is one of the most important things that I think GAHFU is doing. And by documenting the traditions, the cultural traditions, especially the ones that the Garifuna people themselves want to continue and preserve their culture through continuing them, but also putting them on YouTube. Scholars are now finding that a lot of cultures are being preserved and even re-emerge via people watching YouTube, learning how to do things of their own cultures that maybe have been lost for a generation or two. They go back, they start studying their culture, and they start not just changing themselves by enhancing that culture within themselves, but it spreads throughout the family. Very important for Garifuna culture because family is all important. So once you get a few people in the Garifuna community embracing making the drums, you're going to get extended families researching, talking to their elders, finding out the significance, and it's very significant, the importance of the drums themselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, Mr. Bill Flores from the culture capital, Dangriga.
Yes, I am. We just got through the making of a Garifuna drum, which is a lost art. But with Mr. Glen Garcia, he did a good job just explaining it, taking us through the steps of how to make this drum. So these are one of the things that will guarantee that the culture survive beyond our existence. So things like this is what we need to document, to make sure that we're around. Even if the language is not around, this part of the culture will always remain because we'll always have a dance. That's our point of preservation right now. So if we so to do our dances, we must have the drum. To be true Garifuna, we do have to use the drum because it's vital also for our spirituality. Because Garifuna don't do nothing without drums. When a baby is born, we play drums. When somebody dies, we play drums. Somebody get married, we play drums. It's our birthday, we play drums. We just play drums. And that's how we send our messages. So I want to thank GAHFU for this opportunity and for this instructional video. I am Bill Flores.
Thank you.